Hello again, welcome back for another video. I'm Mr. Tom. Hopefully the photographers out there will enjoy today's project. I'm a photographer myself actually, outside the museum. So I am going to show you a fun sort of classic way to make a camera. So there's something called the camera obscura, kind of a strange word. So imagine you are looking at a really tiny hole, or even better yet, maybe you've seen this when you were indoors and you've seen a beam of light shine through onto the floor. Sometimes you can actually see an image that was projected from, say, the outside the window. Say there were some leaves there or something like that, and then the light was beaming through down to the floor and you saw that image projected onto the floor. It's really interesting. And actually what happens is the image is projected upside down. It's like it's flipped. So imagine you're looking out at a tree in the distance and you're looking through a really small hole. But the light that comes to that hole is actually projected onto a piece of paper or a surface like a sidewalk or a floor. It should project onto that surface but flipped upside down. It's really kind of strange. So we call that phenomenon camera obscura. And also a camera obscura can mean a type of instrument or like a box that you can actually look through. You peer through that little hole onto a surface and then you see that image. So if it sounds a little bit confusing, that's okay, no problem. We're going to go ahead and try and make our own camera. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to get started. What I did was I took a box. It can be about a shoe-sized box or any kind of small box, that would be fine. The key is it needs to either have the lid with it, if it came with a lid, like say it was a shoebox, or if it has flaps, make sure the flaps are intact, okay? So you can close it all the way. Now, what I went ahead and did with mine is I put construction paper around it. Also, you can probably see that there's packing tape all around it. Now, you don't have to put it all the way around. You don't even have to put the construction paper around it. But basically what you want to do is you want to seal any loose parts. Like this right here, I'm definitely going to seal that with some tape, or I might even put some more paper over it. You want to seal it because you're going to be shining light through this thing here. And I'll show you, where we'll shine the light through. And you don't want any light to leak out, okay? In fact, you want to have this thing as dark as possible, not so much on the outside, but on the inside of your box, okay? So what you can do is, well, a few things. One, you can just go ahead and paint that surface, paint it black if you want. Now, if you can find a box that's black on the inside, perfect, then you don't even have to worry about adding anything to it. But how I'm going to do it is I am going to just cut strips of construction paper, okay? And you cut your strips and you can either glue them on to all these sides here, or you can tape them on like I'm going to do. So I am going to go ahead and get my pieces cut, and then by the time we come back, you will see a box that is fully blacked out on the inside. Okay, well, as you can see, the inside is blacked out with construction paper. Now, you might notice that I did not put any construction paper on these side flaps here. And the reason for that is because this is going to be folded in first, okay? So just to save some paper, I didn't bother covering these because I knew they'd be blacked out anyway, because you're gonna fold these in first, and then you're going to fold this over the top, okay? And I have this hopefully all really well sealed with tape and with paper so no light gets through. I see maybe just a little bit here. There is going to be a little bit of light leak, so I'm going to cover that up. And then, of course, this I'm going to cover up too. All right. Well, here we go. You have the base of your camera. Actually, it looks like a wrap package. The next thing you want to do is on one end of the box, you want to prick a tiny hole. And to do that, I am going to use a thumbtack, okay? Now, if you want to get it absolutely in the center, what you could do is you could take a ruler and a pen or a pencil or something, you draw an X. So straight edge like a ruler, draw an X through this diagonal, then draw a line that way so you have an X, and then pin your pin right in the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of eyeball it here. So I know this is about halfway between the top and bottom of the box and halfway between the two sides of the box. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to have to twist it around a little bit, pin that through. It doesn't take much of a hold, okay? Yeah, you should be able to see that in the light there. There's a tiny little hole prick there. Okay, now the next part, we're going to work on this end right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a triangle shape. I'm sorry, a rectangle shape. Can't get my shapes here. All right, and I'm going to do this with a utility blade. Now, those of you that have seen my videos before, there have been a few different videos where I've used this, and I always recommend that adults do this part. Depending on how thick your box is, you can use scissors. This is a little bit of a thick box, so I'm going to go ahead and use this sharp utility knife to cut out my rectangle. So again, just sort of eyeballing here. I want to be very careful as I use this. Okay, if I'm finding myself that it takes too much force, I want to be careful and try from a different angle, because what I don't want to happen is that I pull, nothing happens, and then suddenly it slips. I actually cut my finger once doing that. So I'm especially cautious with these now. Okay, yeah, there. So as you can see, I've got my rectangle cut out all the way out here. Now, next part, and there are a couple things you can try. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some parchment paper. You can also use tracing paper. The main thing is you want it to have some kind of thin sort of paper that you can see through a little bit. I'm just going to use parchment paper. On this side. All right. So this kind of paper you can use is, you can wrap food in it. You can do some baking with it. So what I want to do is I want to cut out a rectangle the size of this rectangle on here, and then I'm going to tape it on. Well, here we go. I've got my parchment paper, or again, you can use tracing paper. I got it taped on here. So now what you're going to do is you're going to find the darkest room you can, like maybe inside a closet. Make sure you close the door because you want it as dark as possible, okay? And what you want to do is you want to have some kind of light source. It can be a candle or a flashlight. Using a candle is kind of the classic example. You want to have that light shining through this tiny little hole, okay? So you can say you set your candle here, and then you look through this side. This is like your viewer here. You look through this side where the parchment paper is, and then you want to see if that candle or whatever light source you have ends up on your paper. And it should even turn out upside down. So that is how you make a pinhole camera. So I hope this isn't too noisy for you here. But I am in a very dark room, and what I've got is I've got a flashlight. If you can see a flashlight here, and resting on it is my pinhole camera. Now, this isn't going to be a great demonstration. For one, I don't have a candle with me. This is just to show you how the light passes through. Okay. Now, because I'm holding my phone here, I won't be able to move the flashlight, but I can at least move the camera. So what's happening is the light is passing through that little hole. Let's see if I get back to it. Remember, it's a very tiny hole. So it might take me just a little bit to get it back. Oh, see, it's very small there, very small. I got it back on that hole, but hopefully you can kind of tell as I move it around, you're getting that shape moving in what should look like the opposite direction. So see, when I move, I'm moving my, oh, you can't see that, but I'm tilting the box down. The light is tilting up, tilted the other way. It looks like it's going down. And when you do this with, say, a candle, you should actually see that image projected right through there. All right, well, I hope this was an interesting experiment for you. I will see you next week for another video.